Close.
To start the in-cab inspection, first I would like to check my safety belt to see that it's securely fastened on this side and it's securely fastened on this side. I want to ensure that the latch locks in and unlocks as it should. The belt itself should not be cut or frayed. Next, I want to check my safety equipment, ensuring that I have at least 6 spare fuses for the fuse box, that I have at least 3 reflective triangles in case we break down, and I have a fully charged and securely mounted 10 BC fire extinguisher. Then I'll do a safe start, make sure the truck's in neutral, parking brakes are applied, I know my wheel is chopped, clutch to the floor, turn the key on, watch for the gauges to cycle, all the lights come on and go off, especially the ABS light, and then start the motor. Let your foot up off the clutch slowly to make sure you're really in neutral, and then I'll start checking the gauges. First, I want to check my oil pressure gauge to see that it comes up to normal within seconds. If it doesn't, you need to turn the motor off and find out why, or you're going to be needing a new motor really quickly. Also, make sure the gauge itself is not broken, cracked, or damaged, and there's no alarm light on for the gauge. The water temperature gauge is not broken, cracked, or damaged, and it should gradually rise to the normal operating temperature as the motor warms up. And there should be no alarm light on for over temperature condition. Normal temperature is between 170 and 210. Now this is similar to your test truck. It doesn't have a gauge for the volt. It has a digital readout here saying that the voltage is 14, and that's good because between 12 and 14 is good. You're not required to check the tachometer, you're not required to check the speedometer, or the tachometer and speedometer as I like to call it. You're not even required to check the fuel gauge, but you are required to check the air gauges. Check both air gauges to make sure that they're between 100 and 125 psi. That's normal air, or that it's building up to the normal air pressure. And then you want to build it all the way up to full air pressure before you start your brake test, which we'll get into later. And again, these gauges are not broken, cracked, or damaged, and no alarm light on. But if your low air warning is on, don't tell them it's not on. Just explain to them that it'll go out once the air pressure goes up high enough. Then I'm going to check everything I can turn on and off. I touch everything over here until I get to something I'm required to check. That way I can't miss anything. Yes, I need to check my lights, so I'm going to turn the lights on. That reminds me to check the left blinker, indicator, right blinker, indicator, the 4-way indicator, and the high beam indicator. On your test truck, the high beam indicator is a button on the end of the blinker. You push it in. Then I'll turn my lights back off. Oh, it's got a dimmer switch on it? Yeah, this is my dimmer switch for my panel lights. It's also working, and turn the lights off. Wipers, yes, I have to check them. You must turn them on. Explain to the examiner that they come on. They go back and forth across the windshield as they should. They're pressing firmly enough against the windshield to remove any rain or snow. And the blades, because they're made of rubber, are not dry rotted and no chunks missing out of it. Then we're going to mash the button to make the washer fluid squirt on the windshield. And we can tell by how well it removes the washer fluid, how well is it going to clean my windshield when it rains. It turns off by itself after it wipes, ever how many times it wipes. I don't need to check the radio. I do need to check the defroster. I'll turn this all the way over to the windshield icon, turn the fan all the way on so that I can feel that it's blowing out on the windshield. Now I can turn this over to heat, but I'm not going to get any heat until my temperature gauge gets up to normal operating temperature. I'm going to go ahead and check that it blows out on my feet also. So the heater and defroster is good. And then just put it wherever you need to make you and the examiner comfortable. I need to check this or this. Already checked that. I need to check anything over here. Already checked this. Got some controls over here. They're mirror controls, which reminds me to inspect my mirrors. I want to check that the mirrors are not broken, cracked, or damaged. They're clean. There's no obstruction to my view like illegal stickers. And the windshield also not broken, cracked, or damaged. No illegal stickers or obstruction to my view. And the gasket around the windshield is not missing or damaged so that it won't leak when it rains. I need to check my city horn and my highway horn. At least one of these horns must work or we can't take the truck on the road. Now, with all these things said, I'm ready to do my air brake test. Now, the governor's already cut out. We're at full air pressure. It won't cut in until we get below 100 psi. Would you like me to demonstrate that? And they're going to say no. They say yes, just demonstrate by pumping the brake till it goes below 100, wait for it to build up and cut out again. After that, to start an air brake test, you turn the motor off. You turn the key back on. I'm just going to wait for my gauges to cycle so I can collect my thoughts and act like I'm not nervous. Then I need to push in the parking brake and the trailer brake and wait for the pressure to equalize, because air goes out to the brake chambers when I push this in, air goes out to the trailer and to the trailer brake chambers when I push that in. Now it should leak no more than 3 psi in 1 minute. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005. And they're going to say, let's pretend that minute is over. What would you check now? Okay, now I'm going to place my foot on the brake and press it firmly. You'll notice I lose some pressure initially, but now I should lose no more than 4 psi in 1 minute. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, and they're going to say, let's pretend the minute is over. Okay, next I want to see that my low air warning comes on. To make that come on, I'm going to pump the brakes and reduce the pressure. They must come on before I get below 60 psi, or it must come on. There's the warning. Stay on. There's the warning, and it's still above 60 psi, so it's good. Now I'm going to pump the brake and reduce the pressure till both of these valves pop out. These valves must pop out between 20 and 45 psi. As you pump the brake, watch just the yellow valve. Don't worry about anything else. Just keep pumping until you see the yellow valve come out. After the yellow valve comes out, you can check the gauge to see that it's in the proper range. There, it's in the proper range, between 20 and 45 psi. Now I'm going to start the motor, build the air pressure back up so that I can test my parking brake and my service brake. Clutch to the floor. Start the motor. Let the clutch up slowly. I'm going to increase the engine speed so the air tanks will fill up more quickly. Being careful not to go above 15 RPM. While you're waiting for this air to build up, if they're not already asking you questions, be going over in your mind, did you cover everything you meant to cover? Did you leave anything out? Look around, look at every one of the gauges and controls, steering wheel, horns. Looking good. Oh, the steering wheel has more than 2 inches to play in.
More than 2 inches?
More than 2 inches. Don't turn it like, you can turn it like this because I'm just to play. I'm saying it should be no more than 2 inches. Now, at full air pressure, I should hear the governor cut out, and that was it. Now at full air pressure, I'm going to release the trailer brake, place the truck into a low gear, and gently try to move forward. Be sure not to touch the brake pedal when you're doing this test. We need to know that this brake all by itself is not going to let us go forward. Just a light tug, that's enough. Now I'll pull the trailer brake out to apply it, push the parking brake in to release it. Again, I'm going to try to move forward, and the trailer brake should not let us move. Good, it's holding also. If either one of these brakes let us move forward, we would need to get that repaired. Next, I need to get out and remove my wheel chock so I can do my service brake test. If you go to between, they're going to say, no, that's okay, you don't need to do that. Just explain how to do it. And obviously, from what we learned today, some of the examiners in Columbus also have you explain it. So you need to be ready to either do it or just explain it. So to explain the service brake test, tell the examiner, once you've removed your wheel chock and got back in, put your seatbelt on, you'll release the parking brake in the trailer air supply, place the truck into a low gear, and move forward about 5 miles an hour. Once you're moving 5 miles an hour, you'll match the clutch and the brake to see that the truck stops normally, which means it doesn't pull to the left or right, there's no delay in stopping action, and you didn't hear any metal grinding sound. Then you'll move forward again about 5 miles an hour, press the clutch, pull the trailer hand valve down to see that the trailer brake all by itself also stops the vehicle, and I don't hear any metal grinding sound. Then I'll place the truck in neutral, apply the parking brake and the trailer air supply, take my feet off the controls, and ask you to get out and assist me in checking the outside lights. Now, when I said that to my examiner, they just said okay and got out. Stood in front of the vehicle, and she just raised her hand. She didn't indicate what I should turn on, she just raised her hand. So the first time she did, I put on the left blinker, the second time the right blinker, next time the four-way flashers, next time I turned the headlights on, and then she walked to the rear. As she walked to the rear, I turned the lights off so I would know where I'm starting. Halfway in between is off on this one, by the way. When she got back there and raised her hand, I turned on the left blinker, next time the right blinker, next time the four-way flashers, next time I touched the brakes so she could see the brake lights, next time I turned the lights on so she could see the tail lights, and she raised her hand again. I'm like, what else is there? Oh, reverse lights. Put it in reverse, and then you can see the reverse lights on the tractor. The trailer does not have a reverse light, but the tractor does. Now, I was taking a test in a bus when that happened. I don't know if they're going to want to see the reverse light in the tractor. I'm done. Any questions?